We are live, everybody.
This podcast, this video is sponsored by Save ASAP Rocky.
What is that?
This video broadcast tonight is brought to you by Save ASAP Rocky.
Okay.
He's in jail in Sweden.
Oh,
you haven't heard about this?
Is this that whole thing? Oh, dude, come on, man.
I know, I'm joking.
Why you gotta bring that shit up?
Because that's just the way I do, man. I always gotta cause problems.
Indeed. Okay, so we're doing something a little different tonight. A lot of things have changed in our world here at High Shelf Gaming. I'm super excited about it. This is probably the first thing we've gotten ahead of release as a, hey, thanks for being awesome, and you're in the press world of gaming now.
Holy smokes, it's so crazy.
It took us years and obsession, and this awesome, cool thing happened. So, Rich, buddy, we have early access to the Cyberpunk Red Jumpstart kit.
Holy smoking, is it good, people?
Yeah. Okay. I've been a Cyberpunk fan since 2020. I wasn't around when the first one came out, but 2020, dude, I was there. And version 3 and all that stuff. And I've played this game for decades now. It's so good seeing this. Like, just
there's a lot of nostalgia in it, but yet it still looks really new and fresh.
Yeah.
It's weird for me to say that, right? It's kind of weird to be able to say something is like the older thing, but yet not like the older thing. Like 3.5 did not feel like AD&D.
Yes. Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I really sunk my teeth into D&D with 3.5, but I can totally see how starting with basic and then you get 3.5, it's like they threw a grenade on the thing, started all over.
Yeah.
There's
parts of this. Go on.
I don't feel like they grenaded the game.
No.
Yeah, I feel like the Cyberpunk I love is still in this thing, which is pretty awesome.
Even that front page, which you have kind of clipped right there with us, with the picture of like the whole downtown Tokyo, Neo Tokyo, downtown New York, kind of feel going on.
I assume it's Night City,
Night City. Thank you.
But yeah, let me scroll up just a little bit. Yeah, so it's still, you're right, it still has some of that like 80s glam rock / 80s punk scene going on with like these dark characters around our like bright cyber chica with her like light tattoos and stuff going on.
Yeah.
But
love the tramp stamp.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like this light up fluorescent, like if we went and got, the fluorescent stuff out of those animals that are in the deep ocean.
Bioluminescence,
bioluminescence, fancy word. And that should have been the word you asked today. Bioluminescence.
See this? Okay, so it's a little different because this isn't like our traditional
this
podcast.
Isn't a podcast.
This is like
you can't edit all the shit I say wrong. This is going to be great, people.
Blast.
This is why we need a Patreon, so everyone can sign up to hear all the shit you cut.
My true weakness in doing it live is that I cannot stop Rich from being rich.
Yes. You have to live. Oh, what's up? Hey, by the way, what's up, Heather? John, what's going on? Hugo in the house.
Oh my God, I can't wait to see all of you next week. This is gonna be so good. So I'm landing Wednesday afternoon at like 11, I think, noon-ish.
I'll be at Dick's.
Yeah, I'll meet you at Dick's. Dude, we might have to get to work right away because I might have lined it up a couple of interviews for us.
Fire it up!
Yes.
Fire it up! I don't know if anybody remembers the old Crow reference there, but
Oh yeah.
It was kind of the cyberpunk feel. It made me think of Crow. And,
totally. Yeah, the Crow, straight up cyberpunk. Heather or Katrina, awesome to see you at noon. I cannot wait. Yes. You're like, I will pitch in for it. Dude, Rich, you've been worried about Al. You gotta worry about Katrina. She wants your job.
She's gonna like poison me. She like stole my tagline. She's like gonna be like totally poisoning me.
That's right. That's right. Well, you'll poison yourself. You're gonna be at Dick's with like one of those giant glasses full of stuff in your belly, and you're gonna be like, I can't go on.
Bro, do I ever fall out before 2 a.m.?
No, you don't fall out. That's true.
There you go.
That's true. Okay. So yeah, this is a little different. I think this is going to make it to YouTube. We're definitely streaming live on YouTube. Hey, look at that. And we have people watching on YouTube. Hey, YouTube, how you doing? Mixer. We have people watching on Mixer. Hey, guys, how's it going? Facebook. I don't know what's wrong with Facebook streaming, dude. It broke.
It broke.
I gotta unbreak it. But super cool thing about Twitch, they added a Cyberpunk 2020 category. So like we're streaming into the Cyberpunk 2020 category.
Hold on, let me fix the Facebook thing. I just have my phone open with the Facebook app. Hey, Mark, Facebook streaming's not working because I know the bitch is listening all the time. So there you go.
That's right. You have to have your Facebook app installed and just say,
right.
Hey, Facebook, your streaming stuff doesn't work anymore. And then they send you ads about Facebook streaming.
That's right.
Yeah.
Easy one.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so...
let's get to page 2.
Well, okay, so yeah, good stuff here. Interesting thing, so this is not out yet. This comes out August 1st or 2nd. First day of Gen Con.
Are we able to buy this at Gen Con, by the way? Because I'm buying it.
We are able to buy this at Gen Con. And
I'm buying it.
Yeah. Like, I have no qualms about talking about this sucker because I know we're going to buy it. Super excited we get to talk about it early.
Dude, you don't even know what I read. So I got it just this morning. And so at lunch, I heated up some fiery chicken from Trader Joe's.
Yep.
And I sat down and went through the book, and I was like, I'm enamored with one class, and I so want to play this game. I really wasn't going to Gen Con with a big buy list. This is on my buy list. This and a Dice Tower are on my buy list. And maybe some of the new Doctors for Doctor Who and the TARDIS adventure.
Yeah. Yes. And talking about the zine. So question in the chat about we're gonna have extra copies for the zine. I think that we are definitely going to, because Hugo and I have been talking. There's a fair few people who want copies of this who are obviously not gonna be able to make it to the games because the games are we have like 6 players a game. We have like 1 or 2 games happening at a time. Like if we printed just for the high shelf gaming events, the zine would be like, I don't know, 30 or 40. We wouldn't need that many prints. But yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah. 70 regular quality, 20 high quality. That's awesome. Yeah. So 20 for us cool folk and then 70 for the plebs.
Regular quality for me.
No, you'll get cool. You're going to get cool quality.
I'll get the black and white.
You just have to butter up to Hugo and be like, Hugo.
I'll buy him shots. It'll be okay.
Oh, hey, the online version. Holy smokes. That's right. Yeah. That's right. We have it online.
Dude, Hugo's like all 2600.
Dude, yeah.
He's like got a print copy, an online version. Dude, you rock.
Yeah. I cannot wait. Okay, so on this, we're not going to go page by page, right?
Oh.
Well, one, people need to like get this in their own hands, right? And watching this stream or watching this video on demand is not going to be appropriate for like learning how to play Jumpstart Kit. It's worth saying this is a starter box, right? This is not the full game or the full world or the full anything. This is hey, here's some pre-gens, here's an adventure, here's the base system, right? And go. Enjoy.
Oh, so kind of like high school when that guy was like, oh, here's a little thing of Coke, Rich. And next thing you know, I want more. That's what this is. This is just a little bit to get me started.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, it's like that. I was going to say it's like the D&D starter kit or the Pathfinder starter kit or the Legends of the Five Rings starter kit. Or it's like your first bump of Coke. I don't know.
It is already too addictive. I have been through some of the character classes, and I am so ready to play. I know I sound like Zorn there a second ago. I am so ready to play.
Yeah. So, okay. Let's see here. So this kit comes with a couple of... Let me go and find the list. It comes with 7 items. Two of them are reference sheets, easy reference sheets. You can print them out on a sheet of paper or as like a foldy book, and or a tabloid is the orientation. So you can print it out and have it at the table as a quick. Here's how our combat works. Here's how stuff works. It's like a little one sheet on how the game works, which is awesome. Because, dude, you remember when our Cyberpunk game? We had to look up the full auto rules. We had to look up these rules. We had to look up those rules. This one sheet of paper, it's all there, right? And that's
like they listened to our game and said, "Hey, what would make that game easier?"
I think they've listened to thousands of games and tons of feedback from all kinds of players, saying, "You know, it'd be really nice is if the rules could fit on a single sheet of paper." So now they do, right? In the easy reference, they fit on a single sheet of paper. I'm not going to pull it up because I don't want to like spoil the soup here.
Can we say that there's two versions of that? Kind of a letter version and a tabloid version.
Yes. Yeah. So letter, you print out a single sheet. The tabloid is like a little booklet, right?
Oh, it's so nice. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's so nice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It looks great. And they really follow this. You can kind of see in what I've shown here. They have this
Can you show a little bit of the art? Can you
red
just flip
and
it
white
up real quick? Can you just flip it up real quick so they see one of the red and white, the whole appearance?
Yeah. So they've got like this really like strong theme towards red and white, which it's actually kind of my favorite color combo.
Works really well for colorblind people.
Yes. This is highly accessible from that perspective. Two, this sucker is completely like text searchable. It's bookmarked to the nines. Like it is good stuff from a usability perspective. The other things in here, maps. They come with maps of like clubs and streets and inside and outside of clubs and all of that kind of stuff. There's not a map of Night City, right?
But dude, if we were on Roll20, it'd be perfect. Or if we were sitting at a tabletop, you just throw them down.
Yes, 100% Roll20 friendly, Fantasy Grounds friendly, straight up grid, plop it on the thing. They did a cool thing, which I think was in 2020. So each grid square, because we're talking about the grids, each grid square is 2 meters or 2 yards, not 5 feet. So each grid square is 6 feet or 2 meters, 2 yards. They're close enough that the creators of Cyberpunk are like, look, you're off by an inch or two one way or the other. Just go with every square is 2 meters, 2 yards. That way, they're good in Europe. They're good across the world. They're good in America. Like everybody can kind of look at the same grid map and everybody is in alignment. You don't have to worry about.
Look at that.
Yeah. So that part's really nice. In this book, I'm sorry, what was it?
The standees.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That was awesome. The cars were awesome. Can you sneak that in? Come on, let's see a little bit of the red white.
Yeah.
Let's see a little bit of the standees.
Yeah. So the standees, this is pretty genius. It's 2 pieces of paper, or it's 2 sheets, right? It's the front and back for each standee, and they mirror each other. So you just print this on cardstock or whatever you like as a twofer, as a front side and back side. Cut them all out, and you've got your solo, you've got your rocker, you've got your net hacker, or your Netrunner. My apologies. You've got these cool ass flying cars and bikes and stuff like that. Like that was smart. That was real smart.
Very clutch.
Yeah. So this is super easy, super nice. I love that they're just including little gimmies like that to make it easier to play at the table. And you could see like taking these standees and just like clipping them to put into like a Roll20 or a Fantasy Grounds, right? Like
Hugo nailed it. That is kind of old school because it's very old school, kind of like the original Top Secret box.
Yes,
and it is. I mean, it's again, dude. I immediately felt a lot of retro in this, and I felt a lot of really new stuff as I was going through.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they come with pre-gens, of course, for the thing. The way they do the pre-gens is really neat. Instead of just giving you a stat block, they give you 6 arrays of stats for each pre-gen, and you pick which array you like, or you roll a d6, and that's your stat array for that pre-gen. So, if you... I like it because I think it means I can like kind of reverse engineer how you do stats. Because they don't tell
Yeah.
you. They don't tell you how to like roll out the stats or do a point buy for the stats in the Jumpstart kit. It's just like, hey, here's a pre-gen, here's an adventure, go. And here's not. They don't have a ton of stuff in here about character creation. But I think I can kind of figure it out.
And I was looking at the stat blocks, and if you wanted to go like superpower, they have one that's superpower.
Yeah.
And they have some that are mediocre and one that's really low.
Yeah, here.
And I love the roll the die idea.
I'll pull it up. So you can kind of see on one of their things, you can see at the top, it's kind of busy, but at the top is like this whole grid of stats. It's, 1 through 6, and it's basically pick which array you like or just roll a die, and those are your stats. And you're right, like some of them are like really min-maxed with like 10s and like 4s. Big striations, and then some are more balanced where it's like 6s and 9s and 5s and stuff like that. And so real nice. And the character sheet on a whole, much simpler than 2020 character sheet.
So much easier.
So much easier. Earlier today, not to throw shade, but earlier today I saw the Pathfinder 2E character sheet, and dude, there's math all over that character sheet. There's stuff going on all over that character sheet. With this, it's like, what are my stats? What's my hit points? What skills do I have? Got a little grid for skills. Armor, sure, I'm in armor, great. And then like a little list of gear, cyberware, that kind of stuff. Super simple.
Yes, and Hugo nailed it. It's just the skills you need.
Yep.
Not the full list on there. It was really slick.
Yeah.
And dude, you didn't go low key on that. You went high key on Pathfinder 2nd edition there, bro.
Dude.
You went high. That was high key. That was high key shade, not low key shade.
I mean, the Pathfinder character sheet has everything that you'll ever want, and it's super busy, right? Whereas this character sheet has just what you need, and it's not super busy. And for Cyberpunk, which is traditionally a very crunchy game, this is smooth, man. Like, this ain't bad.
Like it.
Yeah. Couple of little hints here. If you look at the armor section, if you guys remember in Cyberpunk 2020, there were like hit locations, left arm, right arm, torso, leg, all that stuff. It's head and body. Now, I think this is Jumpstart rules. There might be more advanced combat rules also in the main book, but I think at least in the Jumpstart kit, all they care about is headshots, body shots. So when you look at your armor, you only have headshot and body shot. And it's no longer a random roll. If you get a headshot, you have to decide, I want to go for a headshot. It's harder to make a headshot, so you go for it. And if you get your headshot, you do double damage. It's still super lethal. Like, this game is not still super lethal. But they really simplified that stuff. Yeah.
We don't know what's going to come in the final version, right? So we could have a lot of that back, but they did not skimp on even the flavor text.
No.
That's one of the things when you get into the rule book. I spent, the first 4 or 5 pages just reading through the story again and reading. Yep. Now, they condensed it, of course, to get this into a starter kit.
25-page rule book, yeah.
But there's so much great stuff in there. Oh, and by the way, did you see page 2? Can I flip us to page 2 of the rule book? Did you see our boy Cody's on there?
Oh, yeah, dude. Okay, yeah. Actually, right here in the kit cast and crew, Mike Pondsmith, Jay Gray. Jay Gray's the guy I talked to. He's a bud, man. He's a good guy. And then freaking Cody Pondsmith is right there in the writing and design. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. And like,
that was great.
And Lisa Pondsmith, right? Mike's wife / Cody's mom is business management. Like, it's the family. This is a family product.
Yes. It was real. When I went to the second page, I knew we'd see Maximum Mike, right?
Oh yeah.
You like that? You like how I got that right for the?
I really appreciate that you got it right this time.
We saw Maximum Mike right there on the front page.
Yeah.
And then I was like, cool. Oh my God, Cody worked with them on this.
Yeah.
This is in project management, Cody and Mike.
Yeah.
That means they're working together. Wow. What a great situation that is for them. That, a father and a son are able to sit down and take something that Maximum Mike put together way long time ago and revitalize it to today.
Yeah.
I'm just enamored. I'm just so excited.
Yeah.
I'm crazy. Sorry.
It's really good. So, okay, so combat. Let's talk about combat, because combat's such a huge part of 2020, right? And in Cyberpunk 2020, they had a system called Friday Night Firefight. And that's where you got really intense full auto rules. You've got hitbox locations for different appendages. You take 8 damage to anything and it dies, kind of stuff. Thursday Night Throwdown is a simplified version.
Dude, right? Was that not great? They called it.
Dude, I love the alliteration. It's like one day before, like, you're not quite ready to party hard, so you're like, Thursday night, let's just do a little. And then Friday night, we'll get in deep.
Awesome.
So,
and by the way, Thursday Night Throwdown breaks into the abbreviation of TNTD. So it has a little explosion in there. But go on.
That's true. I like it. So, so things are a lot simpler, which kind of fits with the trend in gaming, right? Dude, when this game first came out, verisimilitude, realism, a system that duplicated real life, that was the expectation, right? And so it was all like gritty, hardcore stuff. And then you get into around D&D 4th edition, everybody's about balance. Oh, the game's got to be balanced. Oh, everybody is obsessed about balance. Well, Cyberpunk kind of skipped the balance step because it's never been balanced. Solos win combat. That's how much to it. But then after 4th edition of D&D, you got back to, well, we want a simpler system that's more engaging, easier, more accessible, that kind of thing. And I think that this is them getting in that direction, right? So there's like rules for 3-round burst. There's rules for melee combat, grappling, and those rules are good. Like grappling and melee and high rate of fire, those are tough things to get right. And in this, those rules are good. They're not as complex as Friday Night Firefight, but they're still good. Like, it's still deadly. And they still make sense, but it's not quite as realistic, not quite as crunchy as the old system.
We'll see what comes back. And did you show him the Thursday Night Throwdown page where it shows the guy with the what's that thing called when you put it in front of you?
The shield. Yeah, let's go look at that real quick. Bam.
Dude, this is just a great example. The artwork just screams awesomeness. It's even, to me, the artwork reflects what I remember from the original. It's just updated. Mm-hmm. I mean, you go 2 pages down and there's a picture of a solo, or what's Alexander play? What's his character?
Oh, yeah, a solo. Page 40. So let's zip down.
But yeah, then there's a picture of him, and it reminds me completely of an old school drawing, even though it's not drawn like it was, 20 years ago.
Right.
But they just did such a great job capturing I think the artwork of Cyberpunk too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. So here's our solo. He's
breathtaking. You're breathtaking.
Yeah.
It's all breathtaking.
He's got this like data jacket, this smart jacket situation that they've been talking about a lot in Cyberpunk 2077, right? Is smart clothes, data clothes. He's got his cybernetic eye. He's got a giant Air Force tattoo right on his neck. You see that American Air Force tattoo? Like, bam! Yes, right there in his neck.
What detail, bro? Yeah. I didn't even see that the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Hugo. Now one thing that is interesting, so a lot of times people really focus on the guns in Cyberpunk because they're super deadly. But all of the melee stuff, like swords, knives, having claws, cybernetic claws in your hands, all of that stuff is really lethal. And the way they've done that in this game is they've made it so that all of the enhanced weapons, so like if you have a sword or claws or you have a cyber arm, whatever armor the other side's wearing is cut in half. So your melee stuff cuts through armor super well, unless it's just a dude with fists, right? If it's a person with like raw fists and they're not augmented at all, it's just, you know, flesh and bone arm, and they're hitting somebody with armor, just ignores it, right? So like somebody with just raw fists, not so good. You need some enhancements, but as soon as you get an enhancement, all that melee stuff is deadly, right? So I really appreciate that, like, here they've got some really good stuff in here for brawling. They've got some really good stuff in here for melee. I'm going to zip up a page just so we don't show tons of rules for a long time. But the idea is, like, sure, you know, guns are great, but the player who says, well, I want to be really good at martial arts, or I want to be really good at, you know, sword fighting. Okay, awesome. Do that. You will be viable in this game, 100%. So I'm really glad that they took a second to do that.
I was also jazzed when I read the death saves moment, because not that I die in almost every game we play, but I do seem to find myself on the edge of death more than often. I felt their death saves was really deadly.
Yes. So they've always had death saves. That's one of the cool things, right? Cyberpunk has always had death saves. But it used to be really complicated because you had stun saves, and if you took more damage, you eventually got into death saves, and you had to roll under your body and all that kind of stuff. Now, none of that stun save business. Straight to death saves. If you get low enough, you have to take death saves, right? And you basically, you either succeed your death save, you're still on the ground, you're still like bleeding out, but you're not dead right now.
And you can still fire at people.
A little bit, yeah.
-5, but yes.
Right, yeah, you're still jacked up. Now, someone can come up to you and perform first aid, and then boom, you're alive, not dying with 1 hit point, which is good. But winning a death save doesn't get you out of trouble. It just means that you didn't die this 3-second span, right? Because remember, Cyberpunk combat is 3 seconds. If you fail your death save, you're just dead. There's no, there's not like fail 3 times or fail 8 times or whatever this stuff is.
Oh, and every time you win, every time you make it, a -1 gets thrown on.
It gets harder. Yeah,
it gets harder every
because you're still bleeding out. It's still not. It's not getting better. You're just holding it off the inevitable.
So all I know is I have to play with Katrina so she can come save me.
Yes.
Before I get into too many death save rolls.
You need her character attached to your character.
Yes.
like she's with you at all times.
If it wasn't for her on that last game, I'd be in big trouble.
No, yeah.
So I have a feeling when we play this, she needs to be right beside me the entire time, because I have a feeling I'll be seeing death saves.
Yes. So interesting thing about combat, I'm just going to scroll up just real quick. Basic stuff here. All attacks are your attribute plus a skill plus a d10 like normal. And your target number is either a DM, either just a flat number, or it's a versus roll. So like in the case of melee combat, the attacker and the defender are always in a versus roll, because you're actively defending against getting stabbed or choked out or what have you. Whereas ranged combat can be an active thing if somebody's like actively trying to dodge a thing, dive to cover, or it could just be a flat roll because they're focused on something else. They're not worried about that target over there. So the combat is still super fast and it's pretty simple, but you have to remember that, at least for melee, it is an active defense, right? Which is kind of like Witcher. Remember, we talked about Witcher was an active defense. It's not like and then once you get hit, you roll through the damage. So it's not like you're mitigating damage. Your armor will mitigate damage, sure, just like original Cyberpunk. But yeah, it's pretty good. Like, I like that evasion, dodging matters, right? So if you put points towards that, you are more survivable. Because you can actively defend yourself a little bit better. I think that's nice. I think that's a nice balance. I do wish they had full auto rules. That's my one thing I loved about Cyberpunk 2020 was they had really good full auto rules. Now it's 3-round burst rules, which are okay, so it's a little easier to hit. You do more damage. but it's not quite the I stand in front of the dude with my rifle and just empty the whole mag.
But do you think that's going to come in the book?
I bet that's coming in the
Yes.
book. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in the book it would be smart of them to have Thursday night throwdown and Friday night firefight in the core book, right? Because there's people out there like me who really want realism, and there's people out there who just want a straightforward, simple combat system.
Oh, so you think keep the idea of a lightweight combat, but then also give people the idea of advanced rules?
Yeah, I think they've written them. I think that the basic and the advanced would dovetail well enough that you could say, look, this game uses Thursday Night Throwdown, or this other game uses Friday Night Firefight. And I mean, Friday Night Firefight was in the core book, I think it was like 8 pages.
Yeah.
In this book, it's 4 pages.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, like, it's not a huge investment to just have both in there. All the guns could stay the same. All the gear could stay the same. It's just a matter of, do you have full auto rules? Do you have hit locations? That kind of thing. You know, I mean, there's not a ton that they're really adding. What they've taken out is really simplifying, and it's really streamlined some stuff. But I don't know. Like, I kind of like the crunch of 2020, so I hope they keep it.
I get it. I was really attracted to the streamline.
Yeah.
That's what made me go, I want to play this.
Yeah.
I went, oh my gosh. This, again, let's go to that whole basic D&D thing. I like basic D&D because you're just rolling and playing.
Yeah.
And I felt very, I guess I didn't feel similar, but I kind of, something latched me onto this as I was reading through the rules. I was like, oh my God, I think I might have a new game.
Yeah. I mean, like, one, we are definitely going to be playing this, right? So I am working on a large epic campaign. I really want to use Cyberpunk Red to do that. So we're going to start with this Jumpstarter kit, and whenever the core book comes out, we'll see about migrating over to the core rules. But there's enough meat in here because they have the pre-gens with an array of stats. I can figure out kind of how to make some balanced PCs and use what they've got in terms of gear and skills and all that kind of stuff. I think we're good. I really do. Oh, have you looked at the skills? Let me
go to it.
Let me pull up the skills. I hope that they're okay with me putting up the skills. Because
put up a little bit. Put it up really fast. I mean, we only, No.
I want to see if I can find a page with just the skills.
I wanted to go all Johnny Mnemonic next. Yeah, so we'll go skills, then we'll go Johnny Mnemonic.
Okay, so here. So skills, fighting skills, ranged weapon skills, awareness skills. I really like that they break it down like this. Control skills like driving, piloting, that kind of thing. Technical, performance, education. This kind of stuff. One, the skill list is so much simpler than in 2020. Because I remember in 2020 there was hide and evade, there was stealth, there was tracking, there was notice. There were all these like pseudo-paired, pseudo-competing skills. And as a player, it's like, do I really need skills in 4 areas just to do like basic awareness and basic hiding? The answer was yes. In this, much simpler. Just, all right, here's your stealth, here's your notice, here's your med tech, not like 6 different things. Here's your, cyber tech.
Jesus.
Like really trimmed down on the skills front, which I think means that, as a player, your points and skills goes a lot further, right? Because this one skill now encompasses all driving, not like driving and then flying and then the other thing. Like you just say, all right, I got driving skill and I want to specialize in these things, and it's okay. Yeah.
Very clean. I love the way that they did the difficulty value. It reminded me a lot of playing around with Doctor Who.
Oh, really?
That, there's the idea that there's these difficulty values, and, there's things that are things you get done, you're good at, and then there's things that are just legendary.
Oh.
So when you have the right roll with the skill and the attribute. Dude, I mean, there are times you should be unstoppable in games.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not just an average Joe on the street. You, my friend, are Red Eye, the Netrunner.
Yeah.
You should be able to just knock this out of the park.
Yeah.
And so it allows you to have those moments. I felt it was lined up really well.
What was the what is it, like 15 is kind of the basic, and then 30 is legendary as far as difficulties?
Yep.
You know?
So if we were to give away every day is like that 14 I'm looking at right now.
Okay.
Competence 18.
There it is.
And so heroic is 22. So let's kind of go with that idea in life that it takes 10 years to master a skill, right?
Right.
So 22 would be heroic. It took you 10 years to be that good at something.
Right.
And then above that is 25, which is incredible, and 30, which is legendary, which is a once in a generation feat.
Yeah.
You've got to have the full attribute, you've got to have the full skill, and you've got to roll full.
Yeah.
I mean, dude. It happens. If you play your character right, it can happen.
Sure. Now, I did not see. Did you see in here any character progression stuff? I did not see.
No, are you talking? You talking about growing your character?
Right. Yeah, like XP or IP or any kind of stuff. Yeah, I didn't see any of that stuff. So, I think for our purposes, we'll have to come up with something, which will be fine. It'll be super easy. But this really kind of gets in the idea that you're gonna play one shots. You're gonna play straightforward. You're not gonna worry a whole lot about character progression. But that makes sense. It's a jumpstart kit, right? It's not a campaign kit.
Get you in the world.
Right.
Just like, but they have that whole life path section, and I'm actually jumping out of order now.
No, it's good.
I wanted to go to old Johnny Mnemonic.
Yeah.
But now I'm on the life path. I don't. Was that in the beginning?
So
was that in the earlier Cyberpunk? I just don't seem to remember that.
Dude, yes.
Why don't I remember that?
I don't know why. Because it's like the second thing in character creation. The first thing is stats, and then the second thing is life path. In 2020, the life path is really in depth. Number of siblings. Do they love you or hate you? Who's your enemies? Who's your allies? Tons of stuff in life path.
I love their simple version.
Yes, here, one page.
Yes, and I remember Witcher playing around. You know what I mean? So I think there's some really cool stuff going on there.
Yeah.
And I like this really simplified version.
Yep.
You know, you roll a d10, you roll a d10, you roll a d10, you roll a d10, and you end up with a really complex little environment.
Yes. And it's pretty... so the life path here, like you said, it's like one page, I think. And they're real clear. You can pick or roll. You know, so if you're I have my character, I have my background, all this stuff, but I'm going to glance the life path and see if I can glean anything that seems like it would be fun to add in. Easy peasy. Just do it.
Roll.
Or follow Rich's suggestion, just roll. Speaking of, so actually, when we get into cybernetics later, I have an important thing to say. But you were going to talk about Johnny Mnemonic. So what was that?
That's cybernetics. That was cybernetics.
Okay. So actually, one thing I want to say right before we get there, this game feels a whole lot like the new Blade Runner.
Oh.
You know how like old school Blade Runner had a very specific feel, and Cyberpunk 2020 had a very specific feel, right? And then when they made new school Blade Runner, they said, look, we're not going to reimagine the Blade Runner universe as if it went to pot starting now. We're going to go ahead and imagine that it was still the old 80s version, just moved forward. And you saw that with like Atari still had huge ads up on the thing, even though Atari is not around anymore. And you know, they really just said, look, we're going to take the decision we had and progress with it, right? Cyberpunk Red did the same thing. They didn't, like, reimagine what would a dystopian cyberpunk world look like with Bitcoin. No, there's no Bitcoin in Red, right? They took what Red had, or what 2020 had, and they just progressed the timeline and moved forward.
That's why I'm loving it.
Right, because it still has so much callback to the old stuff, and still very authentic to itself.
What a great way to put it with the Blade Runner analogy. I like that.
Yeah. I think it's good, and they still kind of keep in line with like American sense of cyberpunk and all that stuff. It's almost post-apocalyptic, right?
Yeah.
It kind of feels kind of grungy, like, there's not quite enough resources for everybody. We're all gonna die. Like,
Yep.
it's kind of like that, but it's still
Yep.
cyberpunk, and so to talk about the Johnny Mnemonic, the Cybernetics, what you got there?
Dude, I love immediately the first picture. That is just what made me think Johnny Mnemonic.
Oh yeah,
The
let's go
young
with that guy.
lady with the enhancements and the stuff coming out of her head. And so Johnny Mnemonic is rated as like one of the worst Keanu Reeves movies ever, right? But F them, they don't know what they're talking about because they don't know Johnny Mnemonic. It is one of his best performances ever with a dolphin. How do dolphins go? How do,
Yes,
I don't know. They go
I
something
don't
like
think you
that.
can be wrong. I don't think you can be wrong
I
right
don't
now.
know. But dolphins make that squeaky noise.
Yes.
And so Johnny, I mean, dude, it was Keanu Reeves with a dolphin, with the guy from the band. Who was the guy in the band that was in there? Rollins.
Oh, Henry Rollins.
Henry
Yeah.
Rollins. I mean, come on. How can that movie go wrong? But anyways, it was
They
about.
they found a way.
They found a way. How could they? But they did. But seriously, it was. I mean, that lady had like stuff in her skin for Twitch
Oh, yeah.
factor.
Oh yeah.
And when I read through that section, I immediately see the girl with stuff in her head, and it
Hmm.
reminds me of Pulp Fiction and Johnny Mnemonic.
Right.
And then we scroll down through there and we talk about cyber fashion, cyber technology,
Yep.
and then there's a picture of a chick kicking a dude's butt who has like crazy eyes, and it's like, dude, this is Johnny Mnemonic stuff.
Yeah.
This is Johnny Mnemonic is core cyberpunk from, oh my god, who's my guy? I can't remember his name. He wrote Mona Lisa
Gibson.
Rising.
Yeah.
Yeah, William Gibson.
Yeah.
Straight from William Gibson.
Yeah.
Straight. It's like when you play Call of Cthulhu and they get through the mythos. This is straight from the mythos.
Right.
And it is it's done really well. What did you think about all the cybernetics?
So the Cybernetics trimmed down from 2020, right? But again, this is a jumpstart kit, right? This is to get you going.
Right.
They did two really important things in here. One, they have this paragraph right here. Everybody needs to read this paragraph. Cyber limb myths and abilities. When you get a cyber arm, that doesn't mean you get to pick up a semi-truck with your cyber arm, right?
Right.
Because the arm is still attached to your like flesh and bone body. Like it can't. This right here is super important. The other thing that they talk about in here, which I love, is so there's this concept in the game of cyberpsychosis. And the idea is when you start looking like our boy here on the ground with his eyes all shocked up, when you start augmenting your body so much, you start to go a little crazy, right? You start to become more machine than human, and you start to have some morality problems, right? And then you become a murder machine, and they have to put you down or capture you, right? So cyberpsychosis is still in this game, and it's still very important, but they made a very important distinction, and that is if you, as a character, had to get cybernetics because of something other than I just want fancy cybernetics, like I lost a limb.
Like Luke getting his hand redone.
Right. Or like I was born this way and this cybernetics helps me be ambulatory. Or I want gender reassignment, right? And I need cybernetics to make me feel like who I am, right? None of those things go towards cyberpsychosis. So if it's like if it is a necessary cybernetic for you to be whole, then there's no penalty whatsoever to the character. If it's, I just love having freaking awesome stuff in my eyes and I want a gun out of my arm and I want this and I want that. Okay, buddy. You can have those things, but you're going to start losing. Yeah, you start losing your humanity, you start losing your empathy, and you start to go down the road of psychosis. And they mention in here, I don't see a lot of rules for it, but they mention in here that there are therapies and things to help you trim down how crazy you go for cybernetics. So I think if you invest the time into therapy, you might be able to regain some of your humanity so you can then buy more cybernetics without going crazy. So it seems like they've given a lot of tools in here to make the cybernetics not detrimental if you need them, and survivable if you take the time to bring them on slowly. So I think it's really smart that they did that. Really smart.
And that totally goes in line with my, in my mind, the Johnny Mnemonic analogy. You know what I mean? That girl had too much stuff on her. She ends up having this twitch issue because she's too much in her nerves.
Right.
Because it is cybernetics, but it's still her body.
Right.
It's that whole thing you were talking about, myths and things with cybernetics, myths and abilities.
Yep.
I thought it was a really great section.
Yep.
They did it really well.
Yeah. So the other thing that I wanted to mention, there's a lot fewer cybernetics in this world. There's world reasons for that, right? Which the world book would get into.
Dude, are we saving the best for last?
What do you think is the best?
Oh my god, dude. Would it be Netrunning?
Okay. I wanted to talk about Netrunning, yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. I want to play Red Eye, bro.
Yeah. Is there art for Netrunning? Oh yeah, here we go. Here's some art for Netrunning. Okay.
Dude, it is so there was a game in the late 80s that came out on the Philips CDI.
Yeah.
I gotta look it up. Philips CDI Netrunner game. Let's see what that game was called. Philips Netrunner game. Philips list of CDI games. I gotta look it up. It was one of their awesomest games. Go on.
Okay.
You got the picture up. It looks just like it.
Okay, so if anybody's played Cyberpunk 2020 and you looked at the Netrunner class or role, you realize that the Netrunner was incredibly powerful.
Burn Cycle was the name of the game.
Burn Cycle. Oh, nice.
Oh, so fucking.
Almost every group needed a Netrunner because of how powerful they were. I mean, they were critical to survival. They were critical to opening doors and advantages and all kinds of stuff. But as a class, they were very frustrating to play with because the net run was in a completely different place. like in cyberspace, which was a different place. And the player was like at home, sitting on a couch, not risking their flesh at all. And it took an hour to do a really well-designed net run where they had to like move on the grid and, attack the black ice and attack this data store and do all these things. It was awesome. It was a really good mini game, but it ruined table time, right? And so a whole lot of DMs like myself would just boil all that down to a single roll. Just roll your hacky hack skill and you did it or you didn't. Right? Because you need the game to move. Right. And so what they did here, so decking and Shadowrun, exactly right, Heather. So what they did is they did this in V3, and nobody really played V3, but V3 had great hacking rules. Not quite as simple as this, but the core concept of
really
the Netrunner has to be physically present to Netrun. I freaking love that. The Netrunner is in the game. Yeah. Is physically there. So these goggles they wear now, they look like VR goggles, but they're actually AR goggles or augmented reality. So they can have the goggles on and they're looking at the data stuff they have to deal with, but also they can see the hallway they're in. It's not quite as clear. They certainly don't have the same kind of vision as somebody not wearing this goggle, but at the very least they're present. They have some awareness of what's going on around them, so they're not total like gooses in the room. And kind of like Shadowrun making the Decker have to be in person, Cyberpunk Red, the Decker has to be in person. And really, I think that almost every spin-off Cyberpunk game, like Mirror Shades and all these other ones that were like, all right, this is a Cyberpunk game, but we're not doing Cyberpunk, or we're not doing Shadowrun, but we're going to like improve on Netrunning, almost, or a lot of them, put it so the Netrunner's in person.
Oh my god, it reminds me of Mr. Robot.
Oh,
when
yeah.
They were infiltrating and they went down to the FBI floor and she had to carry that box in and plug it into an open network port that was by the printer.
Yep.
You know what I mean? She had to get under the table.
Yep.
I mean, when I read the whole meat space section of finding a point of entry, it was secretarial pool,
Yep.
Guard Shack,
Yep.
and some other place.
Yep.
And those were the 3 spots the Netrunner had the capability of jacking into the system.
Right.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Fucking beautiful.
Yeah. And so the way they justify this is there's no more internet. There's lore reasons for this, but the world is kind of post-apocalyptical. So there's really not like a bunch of dudes in a local exchange making sure that AT&T and Verizon are playing nice.
Like China.
It's all gone, right? So it's all local. Everything's local now. So you have to be physically present. You have to hack in, and the hack is much simpler. It's no longer a big grid with a bunch of stuff going on. It's a straight path.
6 meters from your point of entry?
No, it's just a straight path. Like
but wasn't it like to get the meat?
Yeah.
So as long as you got within 6 meters of the meat space, you could go. So as long as your team could get you to a spot you could jack in, you don't have to be at a physical like plug-in port, but you have to be at an access point, kind of like you're hitting a close WAP.
And I like that because it then makes the Netrunner kind of like a tower defense game, right?
Ooh.
Where the team inserts their Netrunner, the Netrunner starts the run, and they have, in a given turn, 3-second turn, they can still do a lot of action. So Netrunners still get tons of actions every combat round, which is great. But now they have to defend that person. And while that person's doing the run, they may be waking up physical things, right? Yeah. And they may be waking up digital things. And and they've got to be protected while they're on the run because they can't protect themselves anymore. So I really like it.
Good GMs building in things like Altered Carbon, where there's automated security systems that come online as they maybe fail a black ice roll.
Yes. Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
So the rules here are pretty simple. There's black ice. There's like one black ice program. There's a handful of programs. There's no rules on how to make your own programs. There's just the basic programs, and there's some basic actions you can do.
But there's so many cool things the Netrunner can do. Between scanning, between doing backdoors, between zapping, between ID and control. There are so many neat things they can do to help progress a mission that they could get left behind while the team progresses forward and still be in an initiative situation.
Right.
That there's something going on. Okay, Red Eye, what do you do now?
Right.
Is there something they can affect? I think very much like our last game when Heather or Katrina was affecting things for us from afar. So we were accessing, she was still in the initiative role, helping the game move along.
Right.
From another ship command console, hacking.
Right. Yeah, so this, I think you're right. I think that this feels very much like the Netrunners, one present, they're at risk, which is great, and they're still helpful even while they're jacked in. And it's simplified greatly from 2020, but it still gives the Netrunner reasons to be a Netrunner, right? It's not like they neutered the class so much or the role so much that being a Netrunner doesn't make any sense. They're less critical, right? Because again, in 2020, it was like, dude, what are you doing without a Netrunner? You have to have one, either as an NPC or as a PC or something. You have to have one because they're so powerful. Now, I could see a crew without a Netrunner, but most crews are going to have one because even though they're not like globally powerful, they're still really powerful in that one spot, right? And I like that about the thing. Like, I think that that's a good balance between they no longer have, power of like net god, they're very powerful right where they are. Not outside of where they are, right there. They're very powerful. That's fine. That's good. It's very good.
It's still pretty awesome when you think about, the old version. It always reminds me of Live Free and Die Hard with Bruce Willis, where Kevin Smith is like down in his lair at his mom's house.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He's like, in my lair.
Yes.
What did you bring to my lair? And he's just sitting at home in his basement doing his hacking.
Yes.
So I mean that's kind of the old school version, whereas the new old school version is, dude, your Netrunner is like in full carbon armor with the goggles on, running in with you, jacking in, hiding out, doing their job. It seems a lot more action oriented and a lot more fun. Seems like a lot more fun.
Yeah, I think that I really like this change, and I agree that it's a lot like the Shadowrun stuff. You know, the Shadowrun, I think, in version 5 and 6, they really put the decker in the shit. And I think that it's smart to do that. I think that really is just good game design, really.
Okay, I hate to say it. My beer's run out. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay.
This is live. Sorry, it's not like a podcast where I can normally say, hey, stop for a moment while I grab beer. I'll be right back.
All right, go do your thing. Oh, cool. He's wearing pants. That's pretty awesome. So yeah, we have t-shirts, right? We're gonna be at Gen Con, everybody. So hey, yay, we're gonna be at Gen Con. We're running a ton of events. I think they're all sold out, which is amazing. If you are gonna be at Gen Con, you need to show up at our meetup. Thursday night, we're doing a meetup. We're gonna meet at Super Robo Rally at 6 p.m. We're gonna
Did you fill empty space, or did we
I'm
just
still
sit
filling
quiet?
empty space. So at the meetup, we're going to be at Super Robo Rally, getting to play Super Robo Rally, a huge expose. It's going to be lots of fun. That's that. It's Lego Mindstorm meets board game. It's this huge display in the Serpentine lobby, which is right next to registration. And you'll know it because there's going to be a big crowd, and we're going to be shouting a lot. Super easy to find us. After that, we're going to go to some bars and hang out and have a good time. And so, yeah. Like Hugo says, they're like an R2 unit. Absolutely. So we're going to have a lot of fun on Thursday night. That's the meetup. Thursday night at Gen Con.
Come watch me die.
Super pumped. Oh, yeah, dude. I think you're going to end up with the self-destruct power, so you have to die.
We'll see how that goes. I'm going to take out as many people.
I know. You're going to be like...
If any clumps, people are going to be like, don't clump. Rich is coming.
Just spread out as much as they can. And you're going to be like, yeah, no, I can't wait. That's going to be great. It's going to be so good. And then last thing to say, we have t-shirts for sale down below, merchandise in general. I'm going to be wearing High Shelf Gaming shirts every day of the con because I have too many now. So it'll be super easy to find me.
Underwear, so I'll be wearing that every day.
I did not realize that we put underwear into the thing, but
if you wrap the t-shirt around you like a baby's diaper, it works really well. You haven't done that? Am I the only one that's done that?
Let us hope that you're the only one who's ever done that. Now watch, our freaking Facebook groups will be full of pictures like, hey, look, I got my HSG undies on.
Oh, now commenting back to reality. I think we covered the Jumpstart rules there. We saved the best for last, which is I want to run a Netrunner so bad.
Yep.
The only problem is we're going to have a team of Netrunners because it's so cool.
And not terrible. Yeah, and not terrible. Yeah, that's
It'll be terrible.
Let's see here. So,
by the way, you can get really hurt too Netrunning just by jacking out incorrectly and or being attacked by AI and black eyes.
Yeah, you always could have been killed as a Netrunner, right? That was always the threat, but now I think it really makes a lot of sense, and it's still super dangerous to do net runs. You know, like you have to be careful about the black ice you run into. And so rules wise, all good stuff there. Chat, you guys have been great. If you guys have questions, let us know, because I think we can say things. We can't say everything, but we can say some things. So
that was really cool. They shared this with us though, and they were cool with us showing bits and pieces, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Exactly. So last thing, the world book. So they have a separate book dedicated to the lore. It's another.
By the way,
it's another like 50 pages. Go ahead.
I stopped after like page 30 because I saw that big. Again, like basic D&D. I can't believe how much there's great things in here. Like it goes, stop, don't read farther unless you're the game master.
Right.
And I was like, oh, if anybody's going to run this, it'll probably be Dave.
Aww.
So I quit reading at that point.
Oh.
But boy, they did not skimp on material. There is so much that reminds me of the Witcher interview with Cody. Because, I saw the rule book first with his name.
Right.
And we talked about all the work that went into setting up the Witcher environment. Now, the Cyberpunk is probably a little bit easier for them because it all comes out of Maximum Mike's head.
Right.
But they still put so much work into this and really clean. Oh, go on.
No, you're good. No, you're great. I think that so we can't get too far into the lore here. There is a lot of really important lore that happens right after Cyberpunk 2020 ends.
Yes.
But I can say the things that were in V3 that made it in.
Did the fourth corporate war make it into V3?
Totally. Yeah.
Okay. I wondered where that number was.
Yeah.
No, because I went to 2020 and immediately started reading.
So let's get down to the table of contents. So Time of the Red. This is the new bit, and I think we can talk about what the red means, because there's already been actual plays. There's already like 2 pretty decent actual plays out there on Twitch.
Was Keanu Reeves in it?
No, I wish. Maybe we can get Keanu Reeves. Like, hey, kick us an invite.
Come on, Keanu.
So, anyways,
you're phenomenal.
Time of the Red refers to there was the fourth corporate war, and it was described in Cyberpunk 2020, the supplements, and in V3. The way the fourth corporate war went down was basically Arasaka and Militech Arms are both hired by smaller companies to help these 2 smaller companies wage their little war. And Arasaka and Militech have been spoiling for a fight for a long time. They finally get to have their fight. It is a global shitstorm of corporate espionage and fighting in the streets and abductions and explosions and all kinds of stuff happens. It's a worldwide war fought between 2 mega corporations, not nations, just mega corporations. It takes the world governments some time to decide that they really need to address this. The conflict ends when a nuke goes off at the top of Arasaka's tower in Night City.
Wow.
So that's all already written. We all know, or we don't all know, but in the lore, what is pre-known is that a nuke goes off in the Arasaka Tower, the top of Arasaka's tower in Night City, completely obliterates the downtown gleaming skyscrapers, because nuke, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're gone. Night City is still there around, but like in the middle where all the fancy stuff is, it's gone. Time of the Red refers to a global phenomenon of a red sky because of this war. Not just the nuke, but all of the explosions and all of the global conflict. There's this red patina over everything, over the world, over the night sky, not the night sky, over the day sky. It eventually calms down, but we end up in this kind of completely fucked world where there's not as many logistics, there's not as much resources, because of this huge interruption, there's just all kinds of stuff is really starved out.
A total breakdown of international trade.
Right. Which is like how cities survive. They don't grow their own food. They need it from China. They need it from India. They can't get it anymore because that doesn't happen anymore. So it's pretty crazy. They have some really nice stuff in here about running Cyberpunk Red. Really builds on Listen Up, You Screwheads from the 2020 days. It just updates it for this new pseudo-apocalyptic, pseudo-cyberpunk world that it's in. I really like the chapter on everyday things, right? It's about how do people get education? How do people live? What do the nomads do? They're crazy important now. Nomads are like running the show in some cases. I
just read Sea of Rust, a book, and it's very much about all the humans are gone and only robots are left.
Oh,
and they have had their own little breakdown. And the nomads, or the people that are getting the pickings, are the ones that keep everything alive.
Nice.
So as I was kind of looking at some of this, it reminded me of that post-apocalyptic world.
Right.
Just really good stuff.
Yeah.
Again, so much thought went into this. It was crazy. I'll go back to you.
No, it's good. Like, so they did an AMA on Reddit, I think, And
Oh,
one of the cool things they mentioned was, look, the logistics are effed. There's no like global trade anymore, really. But there are still tons of container ships and trains and just containers full of really important things. And
sounds like missions.
yeah, exactly. So you do a mission, you find a crate, you find a
Yeah.
container, right? And all
We
of
need to
the
recover
yeah,
that container.
and so like truck drivers that can do the on and off trucks that can like lift a shipping container onto the bed, transport that container and lower it. That style of semi are super important because they're the only ones that can pick up these giant containers, move them to where it's useful, and drop them off. So they have to be defended. They have to be robbed. They have to, there's so much gameplay just around, hey, we found a container full of cybernetics, or we found a container full
Again,
of teddy bears, or a container full of food. Like,
now I'm thinking of Love, Death, and Robots, where there's a
oh,
whole
yeah.
sequence of them getting that truck. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
Where they,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, exactly. So
Thank
it's
you, Hugo, for turning me on to that one. That was a good series.
it's really interesting where they've taken it. And so it's kind of scary because I'm used to gleaming city of 2020.
Right.
That's what I'm used to. I'm used to the it's like a new age of development and crazy shit and all kinds of stuff is going on and you can get all kinds of things all the time. With this, it's like, look, we made all that stuff. There's still a bunch of it in containers. If you can find the right container, you can still get it. But otherwise, it's going to be pretty expensive. It's going to be pretty hard to find, right? And you have more important things to worry about right now, like where's your next meal coming from?
No, I need to find out where those jewel pods are. That's what I need to find.
That's right. For all of Vape Nation.
Yeah, don't cut my vapes, brah. That's not gonna work. Keep my juice flowing.
Mm-hmm. Right. And they made the point in their AMA that I thought was really cool. Look, you can have people living in tents because there's not enough building material for them to build homes or rebuild homes that they found. So they're living in tents, but they did find a crate full of cybernetic arms with cyber implanted guns. So sure, they're living in a tent city, but they are armed to the gills. So it's kind of cool. You can have these like neighborhoods or these pockets that are like
Or if you have enough money, you can enter into their OR and get your own cybernetic gun added. But
Sure.
even though it's a tent OR, like good old MASH 4077.
Yeah. Well, and also because there's so much striation. Look, me and my buds living in Tent City with all the cybernetics. What if a couple of dudes come by and decide, we'll just take 4 of them? If I grab 4 people out of this town, they're all cybered up. I now have 4 people worth of cybernetics.
Ooh, that is so dark, bro. I can't believe you just went there. That is so dark. That is just like China using prisoners for organ harvesting. I mean, just think about that. I'm going to grab 4 of them, and out of those 4, we're going to get 2 arms at work.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
as as a DM, I have to be thinking of these things because I need to give you bad guys.
Ooh, so dark. That's so dark. I'm
But
pissed I didn't think of it.
it's a thing that could happen that you could find a justification for, right?
Yeah.
So I think that because it's no longer like, I imagine there's still like a huge income disparity because that's always been a factor of cyberpunk genres. There's always a giant disparity in income.
Oh, yeah.
But now it feels like there's some of that, sure, but then there's also just this oddity of someone is super, well fed and all that stuff, but they can't get a gun to save their lives because there's not a gun crate nearby, right? Or someone who's armed to the gills because they found that crate, but they're starving or they're homeless, So it's kind of neat. Like, all right, you're with some nomads and you guys find a crate, and in that crate is stuff that starts your campaign, right? And that's all you get is the stuff in that crate, and that's boom. You're now outfitted with whatever was in that box that the referee decides, and now you have a game on that whole concept.
So how are the corpse now? Can you go into that? Do you feel comfortable
Yeah.
touching on the corpse and also with, remember the gangs that were such a big part of Night City? Do you feel
Yes.
comfortable touching on
So
those?
there are still going to be gangs and there's still going to be corpse because even though the world has been upended, people with established powers, established pecking orders, they're prepped to absorb shocks like that, right? So, like, I'm sure the bozos are in there. I'm sure some of the big-time gangs are still there. Because when that all went down, they were probably well-organized enough to weather that storm and still be relevant 25 years later, which is when this game starts.
And I remember talking about, the group that were just taxi cab services to take you into the rough areas?
Right.
There's still tactical vehicles.
Sure. Oh, yeah. They're still there. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's not all like you got to walk wherever you need to go.
Right. Right. Yeah, there's still cars and, refurbed cars and VTOLs and all that stuff. There's still Trauma Team, right? The Trauma Team is not in the Jumpstart kit, at least not that I saw. Maybe it is, but I didn't see it. So we can presume that Trauma Team still exists. It's probably not nearly as well organized. It's probably a lot smaller, a lot rougher around the edges. Like not quite as good at a job. Maybe a little bit more violent. But you're right. Armored VTOLs are still there. Big angry guns are still there.
Still corporate police forces.
Super.
Still the idea of don't F around the towers.
Right. Yeah, that's still there. It's just augmented, right? It's all different. It's present, but it's different. It's been marred. It's been changed.
Retro and awesome.
Right. Yeah. So it's kind of neat. They're really walking a fine line here of it's not post-apocalyptic, but there's some elements of that in here. There's some elements of resource scarcity and we're not all going to make it. I really get that sense when I read through the world book. Like, they're not all going to make it.
Okay, now we don't have the major rules yet out, right? So we're just going to get this Jumpstart kit at Gen Con. We're all going to buy it.
Right.
Because it's pretty awesome. I can't wait to have it in my collection. Yep. I can't wait to play it. I'm going to charge for me to run games on Roll20, $500 for me to be the DM.
Oh, you read the Bloomberg article. I see.
I read the Bloomberg article.
Cyberpunk team building. You think that some corporation is going to want you to do team building with Cyberpunk?
Corporation, $1,000. 8 regular scrubs, $500 to be DM'd by Rich. So I'm definitely going to jump on this bandwagon because it is awesome.
Yeah.
So when the main rulebook comes out, one of the great things back in the day was all the supplemental gear that came along.
Yeah.
Kind of like, remember Car Wars? Remember, D&D 2nd Edition? The supplemental gear.
Dude, yeah.
I think they're totally primed for a lot of additional follow-up materials.
Yes.
How did you feel about that?
So I asked them...
I
asked them on the sides, like, hey, can I run this game as... I know it's a Jumpstart kit, but I'm eager to run an epic Cyberpunk campaign. I'd really like to use the red rules. What do you think? And they said, well, you can kind of reverse engineer how we do character creation, right?
Right.
And you can kind of figure out how we're doing cybernetics, and you can still use the Chromebooks. All that stuff's still in the world. It's still there. It might be in a container. It might be in a crate. It might be hard to find.
Oh my God, Dave!
But it's not like that stuff is vanished.
They didn't pull a. Okay, now I'm going to relate it this way, and you tell me what you think of this.
Okay.
They didn't pull a 4th edition snafu where everything from 3.5 is no longer relevant.
Right.
They still have relevancy because they kept their, as we talked with Cody about Witcher, and I love the die rolling system. And you guys rightly pointed out, well, that's kind of an our Talsorian thing.
Yep.
That's just kind of how we do dice.
Yep.
They kept all that the same.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, so you can still use the books. You might find it very difficult to find those objects. But it's not like all those objects poofed out of existence, which super smart for them to realize that question was going to come up and say, look, no, this is still the same world. It just sucks more.
Yeah, Katrina hit that. Thank God for a smart design group.
Right.
And that is exactly, right. I mean, look at who's on the design group.
Right.
Maxwell, Mike, Cody, Lisa. I mean, they just...
Same crew,
thought about
right?
life.
Right. I mean, like, it's not like it's a whole new design team. Like when they went from D&D second edition to 3.5, how many people were on the same team? No. They started over.
I wonder what those conversations were like.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
When they were in the room sitting there deciding what to do and how to relate for bringing in older materials. I mean, I wonder what those conversations were like.
Yeah, that would be really neat to know. I'd like to know that too. So they have confirmed that there is going to be a supplement, Chrome Black, which is going to be a new Chromebook. So they've already got Chrome 1 through 4. Chrome Black is going to be basically Cyberpunk Red made and supported Cybernetics and other items. So it's going to be kind of like the Chromebooks, but it's going to be flavored for Red, and it's going to be a little bit more kind of in the dirt, like Red is kind of more in the dirt.
That'll be exciting. Hi, Maddie. I see
Maddie.
we have Maddie joining us on stream.
Yeah.
How are you doing tonight?
Welcome. So yeah, just talking about a little Cyberpunk Red. We're super pumped for it. You know, I kind of groused. I posted in the Facebook group like, do we talk about things that we've been given for free? Because this we got for free. But I'm going to buy it anyways. You're going to buy it anyways. I mean, obviously I'm a giant fan of this stuff already, so there's like no mystery that I was going to really want to see this.
And dude, we got to hang out with Maxwell Mike.
Yep.
We got our picture. I dropped it on Facebook. It happened. It was real.
Right.
We got to hug him. And so this is awesome to know that they remembered us somehow.
Yeah. In a fond light, not in a weird light. Yeah.
Not in a weird you hugged my dad light.
Right.
But in a very good this is awesome. So I can't wait to play it. When do you think we'll maybe do the playthrough? I mean, we need how many people? What's in the pre-gens? Let's pop that open.
Yeah, so you look at the pre-gens.
One. Hold on, Ricky. One. Two,
I have picked up
3,
a thing.
4, 5, 6. We need 6 people.
Everyone, we are learning how rich counts.
Yes, it's out loud.
Yes.
You should see me trying to do complex math. Go on.
So the way we're gonna do our Cyberpunk game, we're gonna talk about this at Gen Con. So take this with kind of a grain of salt. I'm very fungible here. I'm willing to be moved off of certain things. But what I would like to do is to run Cyberpunk Red as a West Marches game, which means that Katrina, Rich, Hugo, other folks that want to can all make characters, and I can have 8, 9, 10 players, 20 players with characters all in this world, and you're all working for or loosely aligned with one another, and 3 or 4 of you get together and go on a mission, right? To go find one of these containers, go rescue something, go get some data terms somewhere, go and work together as a small group. And you go out and do this thing, and you come back, and you share what you found with everyone else, right? Wow. Like, oh, hey, we did this thing, we did the job.
Share my winnings. What are you talking about?
You don't have to share the loot, but you share information. You say, we did this thing, but hey, there was this really badass looking trio over on the side. They look too tough for us, so we didn't engage with them, but they're clearly guarding something important. Maybe we want to check on that later, right? When we're higher level, kind of thing. When we have more skills.
Why do you call it a West March?
So West Marches, if you Google it up, it's basically...
Did you say west or west?
West Marches.
Like north, south, east, west march.
Yeah, so like you're marching west. West Marches is a way to organize players around a game. And it solves a fundamental problem that we are now having. And that is we have too many players for one game. And when I was running small form 3 session games, that didn't matter because I just grabbed 3 of you, 4 of you, 5 of you, and we would do a game, just like we did with Traveler, right?
Yep.
Like you did with D&D, original D&D.
Yep.
That kind of thing, the idea was, hey, sure, not everybody can play with us, but it's okay because this is a short game and we'll get you in the next game, right? Well, now we're big enough that I need a system that allows me to have more than 4 players. And so West Marches allows lots of players to make characters, but only 4 characters show up at a time.
Oh.
And you're all working on the same team. You're all part of the same group or organization or thing, whatever it is. Yes, DM's all go west, young man. Exactly. School rich. We need to school rich. So West Marches is typically a fantasy setting, survive as long as you can, very little role play. With Cyberpunk, I don't need to worry about that because Cyberpunk there's all kinds of missions. There's all kinds of room for role play. You guys are going to run into criminal elements. You're going to run into corporations. You're going to run into backstabbers. You're going to run into things like that. And you will all note those things and hopefully share some of those notes with the other players so they know that next time they talk to, Fast Eddie can be bought, right? Whereas, Stern's Ted can't be bought or whatever, right?
So is every night a one-shot?
It's not a one-shot. Every night is a self-contained mission.
Okay, there you go.
If you can't, if you or action, maybe not mission. It's you
so
guys.
If it doesn't finish, it doesn't finish.
Yeah, you guys say, hey, tonight we're gonna work on chasing down this secret we learned about, or we're gonna go and revisit that thing, or we're gonna go try this mission that we found out about. And if we can't get it done in the time to go home.
So we can have our own tent city.
Totally.
Yeah. There's 12 of us in the tent city.
Yeah.
And those are the 12 people that have all signed up to be in this game.
Yes, absolutely.
But on Friday, maybe 4 of us show up, or maybe 3 of us show up, or 6 of us, and we kind of work the scenario. Or is there a limit? Is it all?
I'm only going to go to 4 because 4 we get stuff done really fast. 3 and 4 is awesome. And as players, you all decide, like, Rich, I'll give you some super secret. And you say, hey, guys, I want to go chase down this secret I found out about. And 2 or 3 people would say, I want to join you.
Okay. So what if all 4 of us always show up on Friday and we never let anybody else join in? So how does that work?
Yeah, no,
how do we alternate players?
I'm in charge of the schedule, so that ain't going to happen.
Okay. So there'll be weeks that Rich doesn't play.
Right.
Is what you're telling me.
Right.
Because I'll always show up drunk and play.
Right. And maybe people stop wanting to play with you. And that could mean that, Rich and your normal crew go and chase down a certain type of mission, right? Whereas Barry and his crew maybe go do diplomatic stuff, right? To gain favor for
with Barry. I want to be on Barry's diplomatic team. Barry is like so into like this new level of mind games. You ought to see what he sends me on Discord when we play.
Right. Oh yeah.
That's how I come up with all my great ideas. He like shoots me a great idea, and I'm like, that's a great idea.
Oh my god! He just feeds you. He's like, Rich, you should do this thing. So the other big thing is we're going to start moving this to Saturdays and Sundays. Friday nights are fun, but a lot of us are really tired. A lot of the community in High Shelf Gaming, they aren't free Friday night. They're still working or whatever. And I've got a lot of requests to move this to Saturdays.
Because High Shelfies are like, whoop, whoop. They get out and do shit. They party.
Indeed. Yes, that is what they do. So we're going to move this to the weekend, which will give us a lot more flexibility. I'll be a lot more available. We can do it during the day. We can do it at night. There's tons of room there. I picked up a little thing called Legend Keeper, which is an app in development. Oh, maybe I can show it. Can you
sprinkle this? By the way, I would like to be the DM, so DM can be my doll.
Okay.
Did you see DM's doll? I like that name. Go on.
So I picked up a little thing, I'm going to move it over here, called Legend Keeper, which is a way to build and organize a world. West March is short, or help you write your novel, or help you run your giant self-made world campaign thing. Are you sharing
this? Can you share this?
Yeah. It's in the stream. So right here, what I've got is the Night City Metro map. What I already loaded into my little program because I'm working on this. But the idea is...
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, so the idea is I can have little notes about every little place, NPCs sprinkled in throughout, items and all kinds of stuff.
They're showing me an ad real quick.
Oh, yeah, okay. So...
It's about a bronze shaver. Looks really nice. I may need to get that.
Yeah, so Legend Keeper allows me to build out a giant world for the West Marches players to explore, right? And I can keep everything organized and all that kind of stuff. As you guys interact, I can add in notes and all kinds of cool stuff. Eventually, now this isn't how it is right now, but eventually I can turn some of this over to the players.
Because I was going to say, dude, you took the words out of my mouth. How do you do this? Are we just like on such we are like just here together, bro.
We're Vulcan mind melded.
Because
all the time.
I'm sitting there going, but dude,
I'm Spock. I'm Spock, and you're
who's
Uhura.
the chick that like runs like that?
Yeah, you're Uhura. Yeah.
How did you realize that? Because I was just about to ask that. Don't you occasionally not want to DM and play? Can't I jump in and help you once in a while and DM?
So West Marches, yes. So West Marches allows for multiple DMs. There are people running West Marches games with over 100 players, and like 6 or 10 DMs. Yeah. So this game, I mean, this is all Brave New World to me to run a West Marches game. So we're starting small, 1 DM, 6 to 10 players, but it's going to grow. And if it grows in this, maybe I bring, and then we bring on other DMs that want to play this game. Now, we are also going to allow other DMs to run their own games as part of High Shelf Gaming, so don't think this is the only game in town. But yeah, this has the potential to become a big collaborative world, perpetual game event thing where you guys are at cause in the world and you guys are uncovering big, deep secrets and acting on that information and doing really cool stuff. So,
and I'm glad because once we play a couple campaigns, dude, there's going to be some area you point out with like, come on the Great. And I'm going to be like, dude, I got to run that spot.
Yes.
I've got an idea for that area. I've got to run an adventure in that spot. Just for 4 hours, just an afternoon.
Yes.
Just something fun for them to come get a key piece of something. But whatever it works out, I get to run it, and maybe you get to play.
Right, exactly. And Katrina, you're absolutely great question. You can have multiple projects or multiple games. Each project is its own world, its own everything. So they have this one in here that everybody has access to called Sharelandia. And here, I'll scroll in a little bit. You can see world map, right? And you scroll in a little bit. Oh, there's some items. Okay, let's scroll in a little bit more. Northern Landing. All right, there's a little bit of information here about Northern Landing. So, yeah, there's all kinds of cool stuff here.
What a unique name, Sharelandia.
Yeah, Sharelandia. Yeah, so, I did not mean to move that. So this is a shared thing, like, we can all, like, mess with each other's stuff accidentally. So, anyway, so this...
let me in there. I'm going to watch the world burn.
So the idea is that you can have world maps. And then, here, actually, let me go back to mine. This is so powerful. This is so cool. Let me switch projects. Back to my Cyberpunk Red.
Dude, move everybody's lands into the water.
No map here. What? No, I have a map. Here, done. Okay, so I took the old Cyberpunk world map.
Yeah.
Right? And... with
Texas being its own great country.
So this is like a super old school Cyberpunk America map. We could have San Francisco, Night City right here. I could right click this, put in a new place, put in a map for Night City, right? And then on that map, detail different buildings, different things. Each building can have its own map. Inside that building map can be room maps. So there's all this kind of stuff of like nested information that we're going to be able to leverage. So I am...
Dude, link in description below because I need to get this.
Yeah, Legend Keeper is cool. Now, right now, one person per world thingy. So I can't share this with anybody right now, but the creator has stated that he wants to make it so I could have a co-DM or co-creator or allow players to have limited access. They can't see everything, right? So this becomes a collaborative project.
Can we have him on DM's Corner?
Oh, that would be awesome.
Wouldn't it? Just
to have
him talk about his experiences and his growth into this area. Because he was a DM. And he made his own world. And he has lots of DM Corner info We can get Mike on with his all.
I need to refresh this.
Oh, well, I need to refresh too. So go ahead.
No. Why don't you do yours?
I'll talk shit while you're gone. For the
I'm back.
Oh, the 3D miniatures game, and they were going to be playing AD&D then too. So I did a terrible job ranting. Oh my gosh, I'm getting some crazy text that I'm not allowed to talk about on air. I will go get my drink, and I'll be right back.
What? Do your thing.
Those shelfies. You just never know what they're going to say.
Do your thing. All right. So I'm gonna just add a place here for Night City. I'm gonna call this place Night City, and I'm gonna link an existing element. Night City. Add that. All right. There we go. So I got this. This is all brand new. I've barely messed with this at all. I think Night City. I think I've got a map for Night City. Oh, it's still processing. Okay, I gotta mess with that later. Save and close. All right, Night City Metro though. I do have a map for that. Boom, done. Awesome. So let's go put Night City Metro on the map. So here, let's put another place. Link existing. Night City Metro. Add. Okay, so I got 2 places here. So Night City Metro, I can click on this and go to the map, and boom, we're in here. And then I can say, all right, I need a map for City Center, or I need a map for Wellsprings, or whatever. So, Katrina, right now, no. I'm the only one who can use this license. But the creator has said he wants to make it so that one owner can allow other DMs to contribute to the owner's project, or other players to contribute to the owner's project. So, this is something that we might be able to share out for other, HSG games and events and that sort of thing. So this could be a really cool way for us to build things. What's up?
Dave, I got to interrupt you.
Oh.
So coming back to the Jumpstart kit.
Yes.
Pretty damn awesome. We're all. Did you find anything negative about it? Did you find anything you didn't like?
So, okay. So, I miss a couple of rules, right? Which I kind of mentioned earlier. And I think that Netrunning, though I'm really glad that they've simplified it. I think it could be just a little bit more dynamic. I really do. So I think that, they did a great job by putting them in person and simplifying things, but I think that there could be a little bit more meat on the Netrunning hook for it to really get me going.
Holy crap, bro.
What?
Anything else before I ramble?
No, go for it.
Dude, the only thing I wanted is in the back of my mind, I still have that idea of ours that you build a deck, a physical deck of cards in Netrunner.
Yeah.
And so as you do adventures, your GM gives you certain cards. And as you're playing against him, you either get smoked or you don't. So it takes out the dice roll.
Yeah. Dude, let's do it.
Build a deck.
Let's do it.
I'm telling you, it still hit me. So the only place that I go, I want more, is in the Netrunner.
Yeah.
But I was still completely happy with it. I was happy with the whole book. I really was happy with all the aspects of what I read. Great kickoff start.
Yep.
But the Netrunner thing, because we brought up that damn idea of running a deck against the deck, created a scratch I have to itch.
Right. Yeah.
We're going to do it. You know what? We need to go to Nord Games and talk about a supplement and get it made.
Be like, hey, we don't have the thing. We have the idea and the skeleton of it, but you have the rest.
Exactly.
I'm in. Dude, I'm so in. Yeah, I think that doing something to jazz up the Netrunning would be really great. And I love the idea of using old school Android Netrunner, the card game, as a foundational idea and making something. That you're right. As you go through my, our West Marches Cyberpunk game, hey, all Netrunners, you now get access to this new card.
Oh my God, you're right. I didn't even think about it as cargo. All of a sudden, in one of the boxes, you find the ability to have a AI. And now that you have that, you can add it to your deck. Holy
Right?
smokes, bro.
Right? Like, it would be so cool. Dude, it'd be so cool. It'd be so cool. So, yes, we need to work on that. We really need to sit down and work on that. Flesh that out.
I'll bring cards to Gen Con. So
Okay.
we can bullshit around.
All right, Wednesday. Dude, I'll blow off interviews to do this.
No, we got interviews, dude.
Okay.
Let's do interviews.
All right, but either way, we gotta play with that, man. We have got to get that worked out.
I'll bring cards. I'll bring cards to look at.
Yeah.
And we can play around with the idea. Okay, back to Legendary Keeper. West March. Love it.
Yes.
Go on.
Yeah, so the big thing here is still a big time work in progress. It's not released yet. It's pretty close to being released, but I got access to the beta.
How did you get the access?
I gave the guy $5.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Where'd you find him to give him $5?
Patreon. Give him $5.
Oh!
You give him $5, he gives you a beta key.
You're so smart. You're so smart, dude. You're so smart.
So, yeah, this is pretty stinking cool. There's actually a competing product out there that Satine Phoenix really likes. That is
Phoenix.
She uses it for a lot of her world building, called I think World Forge or something like that. It looks crazy slick and has been on the market for a little bit longer. I think it's actually a team of people who make it, so it might actually be a bit more mature. But this was the right price for me. It's $5.
How much was Team Forge?
Huh? Oh, it's like they will happily charge you $280 a year for the top end. They have a free version, which is like you get 2 players, you get very little storage, you have really small maps. If you pay them, I want to say like $60 a year or something like that, you get like a gig or something of storage. So what they do is they meter you on storage and features. But it's a sliding scale and it goes up to like 200 something a year. So I was like, $5 is the right price for me. So I'll spend $5 and get access to this thing.
And with AWS and storage being what it is, that seems a little high. Right. But you know what? I don't know what development costs. Right. I don't know what they're paying for that. But,
I have no idea.
Just in the whole world of the internet.
Yeah.
That seems a little rough.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I think that, I'm going to keep on Legend Keeper for now. I'm getting more used to it. It seems pretty stinking cool. It's not a VTT, right? It's not a sharing my map, my battle map. It is a lore keeper, right? It is a world building tool.
You would open this while in Roll20.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I would reference this while everybody's playing, and eventually the players could reference it too, but at least initially it'll be GM notes galore. So it's basically like OneNote meets Wikipedia meets Google Maps all rolled into one big thing. So yeah. I know we kind of drifted off of Jumpstart Kit, folks. I'm really sorry for that if you joined to talk about Jumpstart Kit. We did about an hour and a half of that a second ago, and it was awesome. But I have no more notes on Jumpstart Kit.
Dude, and I think, you know what? An hour and a half is about right, because it is just a Jumpstart Kit. It is not the full deal. When we talked to Cody about Witcher, we did 3 hours of conversation.
That was full deal. That's everything.
That was a full rule book rundown.
Yeah.
And that was 2 episodes over 3 hours.
Yeah.
So this is a Jumpstart Kit. I think we nailed it in an hour or something.
Yep.
I think it fits in. The other good thing is those pre-gens, and I meant to say this earlier, they played them. After talking to Cody about how they set up their game for Witcher, these stats are fleshed out. Yeah. These are not just, let's pump stuff in to get something out the door. It was played through, tested, and tweaked.
Right. Yeah. And the adventure they have in there is pretty good. They actually played it on IGN. So if you go and search up IGN plays Cyberpunk with Mike Pondsmith, they played
what?
They played a version of this adventure called The Apartment. So you can kind of get a sense for how the adventure can go if you go and check out the IGN playing Cyberpunk with Mike Pondsmith. It was pretty good. Now there's some differences in here which I like, but it's a pretty decent starter adventure, and it really drives home Mike's core point about Cyberpunk, which maybe this is a good thing to end on. With Cyberpunk and sci-fi gaming, it's really easy to get lost into the tech, get lost into the lack of humanity and all that kind of stuff. Mike, his philosophy, and it really works well, is to say Cyberpunk is personal, right? It's not some gangers messed up this neighborhood. No. They're going after your sister. They're going after your dad. You know, like, they're going after your family, your closest friends. And he's like, look, to make Cyberpunk meaningful, you have to make it personal. And we did a little bit of that in our Cyberpunk game because I had Trace's dad going after him, right? I had Snitch Rich's girlfriend was actually an AI. You know, it was all personal. It was all like, no, I have to care about this. This isn't like some rando person I found out about. So, like, when we run our game, this West Marches, that'll be kind of my challenge, is to make sure that even though it's a West Marches game, it's personal, right?
Can you send an invite to Maximum Mike?
Dude,
to join our West March game?
I would love it. I would so love it. But, dude, come on. There's no way he's going to play with us. I don't know. If our Talsorian, you're watching this and you want Max Mike to play in the game, like, send him our way. It's cool. But you got to make it personal.
We'll make a spot at the table.
Yes. Any day. I will kick you out of the game, Rich.
I will leave the game to watch.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point, Katrina. Like, we will ask. I asked for Cody. They said no. So we will ask for Mike. But yeah, I mean, they're a great bunch. I love them to tears, and I take a lot of those lessons to heart. So it's all good. Oh man, yeah, dude, that's all I have. Really, keep it personal. All this other cool stuff we're doing, dude. We're working on so many things at High Shelf. Like, I'm amazed that like the community is banging out so much awesome stuff. It inspires me to do stuff like this and go big. Swing for the fences. Dude.
Normally he cuts all this out, everybody. Dude. PAX South. Tickets are coming up for 2020.
Yes, we've got to go to PAX South. Big time.
Zorn. Scott. That's his game. That's his place. I'm going. I got my notice. PAX South tickets are coming up.
Awesome.
We gotta go.
Yes.
Are you coming down?
Dude, I'm going to do my level best to come down.
Okay. Am I going to pick you up at the airport?
You might, and we might drive down together.
Oh, yes, you can come to Dallas and we drive down. Or you can
whatever.
fly in there and I'll pick you up.
Whatever. Yeah.
But either way, I'll be drunk, so you may want me to pick you up at the airport instead of driving down with me.
Fair enough. Yes, PAX South. That's going to be so good.
Yes.
I
Katrina
cannot wait.
will be there.
I cannot wait. Yeah, that's going to be so good. There's so much cool stuff going on. I can't
wait to party with Zorn.
I can't even talk about some of the cool stuff that's going on. It's so awesome. This community blows me away.
Yep.
Oh, hey. Or I could fly to Austin and Katrina takes me. Haha.
That's true, too. But you would not have near as much of a fun of a ride.
I'll let you guys fight it out. You guys can fight it out in-game.
I can just guarantee you would not have as much of fun of a ride.
Y'all fight it out in-game. We'll figure it out.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I am stoked, dude. I think what we got going on after Gen Con is going to be amazing. It's going to be so much fun. I'm so glad we got to talk about this before Gen Con.
Are you going to master this and get it out?
Yeah, I'm just going to put
YouTubing this?
Yeah, I'm going to YouTube. I'm going to YouTube this.
Just click YouTube.
Yeah, straight to YouTube. Done.
Yes.
Easy peasy.
Can you podcast it too, or would it work as a podcast?
So let me ask you this. Would you rather, and chat, everybody in the chat, folks on YouTube watching us, and Mixer, and Twitch, would you like to see this as a podcast, or should we wait until after Gen Con when we can talk about more spoilers and record just an hour? Because this is like a 2-hour, 3-hour thing at this point. That's a 2-hour thing.
Can we play the game and then record a podcast?
Totally. Yeah, dude,
That would be a better-
I'm playing the game at Gen Con.
Yes, that's a better mix because just like Witcher, we played through it before we talked about it.
Yeah.
So we had experience in the
Yeah.
ideas. Right now, I only have a bunch of ideas I want to do.
Yep.
So I think so. I think you're right.
Yep.
And you know what? We talked about visual right, a lot.
Oh, I like, Katrina, good call out. We talked a lot about the art in this. You know, we showed off a lot of art, which is cool, and we did some high level stuff. Yeah, more spoilers. Okay, so yeah, we'll record an actual podcast episode that is deeper into this stuff and
do
has
this
more
as a
spoilers.
YouTube so people can see what I was saying about. Oh my God, it's so Johnny Mnemonic. Oh
Yes.
my God, look at her tattoo. Look at her tramp stamp.
Oh, yeah.
They can see all.
Yeah, this will go straight to YouTube so that folks on YouTube can watch it. But we're going to do something more focused with the podcast for sure.
Man. Okay. You know what else I didn't notice? I'm going to shut up after this. Our boys from Poland didn't seem to be involved.
Oh, the CD Projekt Red guys?
Yeah, I looked at the. Let's go back to page 2. I didn't see a lot of skis. And by the way, I can say that because my name's a ski. Yeah, I don't see a lot of skis in there.
Oh, what?
I see a Fragile. I mean, there's a Polish
what about this? Anselm Zelonka?
Yep, I would say that could work.
Stroganova? Maybe?
Yeah.
Angela Stroganova? Well, these are illustrators.
These are illustrators. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cartography, map out layout, coding, layout, page design, coding, proofing.
I mean,
editing,
writing and
coding.
writing design. These are mostly our Talsorian employees, right? I mean, Jay, Mike, Cody. I think James is on staff. I don't know David Ackerman. You know. So yeah.
I think you're right. Illustration definitely came out of our Eastern European brothers.
Brothers and sisters.
My boys from Poland. But I think a lot of this was done over in the U.S.
Yep. Which is all good.
Yes.
So yeah, I think great stuff all around. And you know that CD Projekt Red takes over in 77. This book takes place in 45. So there's still a huge gap between Cyberpunk Red and Cyberpunk 2077, the video game. It's another 30 years or something like that. So, yeah.
Keanu Reeves is in that one.
Dude, how does Johnny Silverhand live? All right, that's what I got to know. Johnny Silverhand is in 2020. He's already kind of through his whole career at the end of 2020. And then he shows up in frickin' 2077. He's 100 years old at that point.
And Keanu was in Johnny Mnemonic.
Okay.
He was Johnny
Mnemonic.
Mnemonic.
All right. There's layers to this.
I know, bro.
All right. If we ever get to talk to Pondsmith, Mike, about this, I'm gonna be like, all right, Mike, level with me. How the heck does Silverhand? How does Silverhand stay alive that long? You tell me.
Find out.
You tell me right now.
You know what? That might be why he doesn't come on, because he knows we're going to ask the hard questions.
That's right.
We don't ask easy questions. You want easy questions? You go to freaking Dice Tower. You want real questions? You come to High Shelf Gaming Podcast, because we ask the real shit.
The deep, obsessive nerd shit. That's what we do. Yes, I love it. Okay, we should probably wrap this up because it's getting close to 10, or it is 10.
It's 10 and I'm drunk, so it's probably better.
Yeah. Folks, I'm so glad we got to do this. I feel so fortunate that we have the right kind of community that, one, celebrates this kind of stuff, and two, kind of launches us into the state of validity where it makes sense for a company to hand us this and say, hey, we want you to talk about it ahead of the show. That is so cool. So cool. And, of course, I personally love our Talsorian. I was going to do this no matter what. so happy.
Yeah. Dude, they added something to my Gen Con list. I mean, seriously, it was a dice tower, some new Doctor Who characters, and that's it.
Dude.
Now I'm excited.
Yes.
I'm excited now.
Go grab yourself a Cyberpunk game on the event list. They're 2 hours.
Are they?
Yeah, easy peasy. Easy peasy.
Can we play together, or am I allowed to show up?
Yeah.
Because I'll be drinking at Gen Con.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. Well, everyone at home, thanks a ton. As always, have fun and play well.
May all your rolls be crit.